Jordan, the Wolf of Yarmouth. Mm-hmm. Just make a note of that. So, yeah, the Wolf of Yarmouth.
There's wolves in yesterday's confession.
Yeah, absolutely. Wolves.
Week.
Yes, we need more wolf-based confessions. Let me just make a prediction at this point. Not forgiven.
Oh,
just
really?
saying that.
Wow.
I'm not steering the jury, of course. Dear Simon of the Collective, one February several years ago, the wife and myself...
Okay, there you go.
Not forgiven.
Strike one.
There you go. He then does add Corinne in brackets.
Oh.
Went on a 4-night break to Great Yarmouth. We had never visited Yarmouth before, and so we were looking forward to a little exploring. One of our little joys is to seek out old character public houses that sell cask ales for me and good white wine for the wife.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's almost like from the pub landlord, isn't it, really?
Wow.
On our arrival on the Monday afternoon, our first stroll out in the bracing February sea air, we came across such a place that proffered fine ales and wines. However, it appeared closed, so we moved on, finding another open establishment further down the seafront. Over the next 2 days, we passed this establishment several times, both afternoon and evenings, and still there appeared to be little activity. However, on the Thursday afternoon, as we neared the pub, we noticed that the doors were open and the lights were on. Excellent, we thought. We can do a visit after all. On entering, it was everything we'd expected. Wood panelling, sea and boat paintings and prints, plus other bits and pieces that ordained such a place. On approaching the bar, "Landlubbers ahoy," I call.
Oh, dear.
I noticed a number of customers who were all seated near one another in one of the corners. The choice of beer was limited to 2. There was an ale that I do drink. So after the usual pleasantries with the bar lady, I ordered it along with a large dry white for the wife. Now, I should say, normally I change this kind of stuff because, just to make it read more pleasant. But I feel editorially it's sound to leave it the way the Wolf of Yarmouth has actually written it.
Okay, yeah.
And a pint of Pinot Grigio for Madam, I call. I took a sip of my beer as I turned to further survey the surroundings. It was only then I realised the sombre atmosphere and hushed voices and smart dress of the customers. We were in a funeral gathering, a post-funeral gathering, and my cheerful bonhomie maybe was a little out of place.
I think it was.
Now, unfortunately, the beer was not of great quality, and Corinne indicated that her wine was not that good, and there's Susie there from the pub. And also that the wine was a little tepid. I thought about complaining, but decided against it, not wanting to cause a scene, considering the post-death situation that we found ourselves.
Post-death. Brilliant, yeah.
We'd like to book your pub for a post-death situation. Instead, we decided to drink as much as we could stomach before moving on. In the opposite corner from the group of people was a quiz machine. 50 pence a game with a chance to win a jackpot of £10. We like to have a go on these machines, and so to kill a little time whilst waiting for our drink to digest, we sidled over to it. I put £1 in and we commenced the first game, only to be beaten on the second round of questions, having used up all our extra lives and passes. However, the second game was totally different. We went question after question, getting answer after answer correct, and to our surprise, we got the final question correct. We reached the £10 jackpot with 1 life remaining. I suggested that we collect the money and move on, leaving what was left of our drinks. After all, we now had funds for a beverage elsewhere. I pressed the collect button. There was a long pause, and it looked as though we weren't going to get our reward at all. And then, to our shock and horror and disbelief, there was a cacophony of noise as pound coin after pound coin cascaded into the metal collection tray. Ching, ching, ching! Prize alarm, prize alarm! The machine was having a convulsion. This appeared to take an eternity, but in reality, probably only about 10 seconds. Needless to say, there were many more than 10 coins that we were expecting. Now, I looked around. There were several glowering looks from the funeral party. As you can imagine, the clang, 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 win, win, win alarm hadn't gone down too well. So as nonchalantly as possible, I took another sip of my remaining beer while scooping coins with the other hand into my pocket. And I pushed them into my jacket and my jeans. Put the glass down and finished emptying the tray, looked at Corinne. She nodded. We left the premises a little quicker than we went in. We walked to our next venue in more or less silence, unable to comprehend what had just happened. We purchased drinks with some of our ill-gotten gains and sat in a corner to count what was left. we had 96 £1 coins.
What?
We had won £96. That afternoon, a high street fashion chain benefited from some of Corinne's share, whilst I returned to a pottery, which we had visited the previous day, where I purchased a collectible glazed tankard, which had taken my fancy. I told it was the pub landlord, but on the day could not justify spending a cost of £24, but now I could. That evening we again walked past this pub, and as I thought it would be, it was closed. Maybe they never opened again due to terrible losses caused by the £96 that I had cost them. To this day, we don't know what happened and could only put it down to a machine fault. Maybe I had special powers that day, but I need forgiveness on 2 counts. 1, we'd gate-crashed such a solemn occasion and possibly caused distress with our bonhomie. 2, that we acquired additional spends that I'm not entirely sure we were entitled to. We should have returned our ill-gotten gains, as someone else would have taken the rap. But we didn't, so jog on, loser. That's the way the markets operate. Kind regards, Jordan.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Jordan, the Wolf of Yarmouth.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's just check in with people's verdict shortly. Sister Susie from the pub,
Well,
therefore not the most impartial person we can
do you
turn
know
to.
what? I just think you were rude, Jordan. I'm not going to forgive you because I understand if the place didn't have very nice beer or wine, but you have to tell them so that they can fix it. Walking away or not drinking it ain't going to do anybody any favours. And also, maybe if you'd given the extra money back, maybe they could have afforded some nice beer. So not forgiven from me.
Yes. Brother from another gutter?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot not to forgive. But, you know, I have to say, anyone who ever uses the phrase, that's the way the market operates, I'm going to say you and I are not going to get along. 96 quid, though. Yes, indeed. I do love a quiz machine, but I'm not going to forgive, I'm afraid, Jordan. It's the calling Corinne the wife.
Yes, that was the
throughout.
start, was
I'm
it?
afraid it's all over for you, sunshine. Not forgiven.